Hello.
I have two people. I started with 4. I don't know what happened. I started with 4 people.
Good morning.
Morning. All right.
I'm Camille. This is Dave, my husband, and today your outfit almost match. And I know you like that.
Yeah, we're both wearing short shorts.
We're both wearing short shorts, and we both
Pants.
have a little baby bump.
Yeah. My bumps are different than your bumps.
Wait, I need to start the other one.
Okay, so Camille's going to start her live. So you guys who are kind of getting situated in here, you're going to need some dumbbells and some bands today. If you don't, we're going to talk you through a bunch of substitutions for the movements we're going to do. We'll start with a warm-up in about 3 minutes. And we'll also...
All right, so fun little story about me and Dave. I'm pregnant right now and I'm gaining weight, and I'm not a huge fan of how my body is changing. And Dave decided to go on a diet.
Well, I'm cutting.
What
cutting
type
with the 30-day.
of person does that?
I have a group doing the 30-day shred.
Yeah, whatever.
And
That's
I'm
not
gonna,
my point.
Yeah, we're going to participate with our people, you know. So, yeah, I don't feel bad, Cammy. I still love you.
Well,
Even
you
if
better still
my
love-
number's going up, though.
And mine is going down.
Yes.
You're so mean.
I am so mean. Oh, man. This connection is not working.
No?
I don't know.
It's okay. I have mine. You have it on you too.
Okay, there's something.
Yeah, you just have to hold it like this.
See, if I just put it here, maybe.
All right, today is going to be me and Dave. We're going to do some
Guns, arms.
arm day with Dave, and then we're going to do some butt conditioning with me.
Butt stuff.
Butts and guns. That's what we do today.
Butts and guns. Okay, yeah.
Butts and
that's
guns.
good. Normally it's butts and guts, but we'll change it up with the guns. So,
Yeah. We're not doing guns for a while here.
so we'll start by doing the arm work, and that's going to be really fun. It's going to be super pumpy, very challenging. So we'll talk you through how to do the exercises and also how to scale them based on the equipment and logistics that you guys have.
You want to tell everyone what they need for equipment, and what if they don't have equipment so people at home can get ready right now?
Yeah, so ideally you'd want a set of dumbbells. They don't need to be heavy today. Like Cammy's going to use 10-pound chip plates for most of these exercises. I'm going to be using 35s to 60s, but you don't need super heavy dumbbells, so just one pair should suffice. Even if it's a little too heavy or too light, you can find ways to make it more challenging. A bench would be great if you have it, but if you don't, you can use a chair. I'm going to show you some different ways to kind of replicate a lot of this stuff with just home furniture. And if you have a set of bands, that's going to be really beneficial because we're going to do some pumpy band work. If you don't have the bands,
Just super lightweight.
you'll go with super lightweight. Even something like soup cans would probably work really well for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So go get your soup can.
Go get your soup cans.
Go
Go get your cans.
get your cans and grab your maybe like if you have just grocery bag that are not paper plastic, you can put some weight in that, and they'll be good to like
For
be
the curls
able
and
to
stuff.
do like curls and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. So
So
let's
you
start.
can put more weight in that than just a soup can.
Let's start going through like a little warm up first, just to kind of get these guys, get them hot, and get them rocking. I know I want to stretch out the biceps and the triceps and the shoulders a
We
little
should do
bit.
some tabletop stuff.
Yes, we'll get in there. We're gonna get all the.
We're gonna get all up in there.
All the stretches. So nice and simple first, guys. What I want you to do is with your arms straight, just put it across your chest and pull it back nice and easy. Just kind of open up the shoulder a little bit. When I do this also with bicep work, I like to kind of flex my arm up and down just to kind of floss out that bicep tendon a little bit. Hold here. You should feel it right in the back of the shoulder.
I never feel that. I don't even know what this is supposed to stretch.
Stretching the back of your shoulder.
I don't feel anything.
Well, you're not going hard enough.
But I can't go harder because I'm gonna break something.
Let's try switching arms, guys. We'll get back to Camille and her mysterious body.
Oh, I feel it on this side a little.
Mhm.
I think that's because I sleep on my shoulder like that.
Yep, that could be.
So I'm like,
I feel like sleeping on the shoulder is one of the hardest things.
sleeping on the shoulder is super bad for your shoulder.
shoulder.
That's why I had a surgery, I'm pretty sure.
Cool. Next one we're going to do, very similar, but now with your palm facing down, you're going to grab your elbow and go across. And this is going to get a little bit of a different aspect of the same thing. You can kind of move your bicep back and forth, pull it back.
See, I'm like,
What are you doing? I don't even know what stretch you're doing.
the one that you're doing, but I don't feel it.
Put your hand here. Put it on your elbow. Pull it across.
Yeah, you kind of go more to
Your
the
chest, your chest. Onto your chest. There you go. Yep, there you go. And switch arms.
I still don't feel anything.
I don't feel anything, David. That's what she said. Cool.
It's funny, but not.
Shake it out a little. Now, next one we're going to do is going to be an overhead tricep stretch. So you're going to, again, grab at the elbow from behind your head. You're going to pull it back. And you can actually get really deep into the stretch just by leaning to the side. You know, I like to press back with my head a little bit.
Yeah, I do that too.
And nice and deep. If you want to, you can move that arm. She's tickling me. No tickling allowed.
Oh, something crack.
A little crack in there. That's okay. That's totally normal. We'll just pretend like that's normal. And then stretch. Maybe even get into your lat a little bit when you do this.
No.
I'm not looking at you. You're looking at me. Oh, yeah. I used to be much like when I played baseball. I could do crazy things with my arm. Not so much anymore. Okay, so now what I want you to do is you can do this on a table, on a bed, on a box, or anything like that. Camille and I are going to do it together, and we're going to stretch our lats. So
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
what she's going to do, and I'll do it right next to her, is she's just going to kneel in front of that thing, and I'll tilt you down so you guys can see, just so you see what's going on. And what you want to do is come across your body a little bit. So if I'm doing this with my left arm, I'm going to come across my body to my right shoulder and then sink my head down. Just let your lat open up a
So
little
just
bit.
it's hard for them to see.
Yeah.
Just one arm forward, and then you're just going to let the shoulder sink. So the other arm is just supporting.
Yeah, you're actually pressing that arm against the bench as you pull your chest down. Cammy's shoulder is tight.
Yeah, my left shoulder is bad.
Go ahead and switch arms.
I got
This one.
surgery on my right shoulder, but I think I needed one on my left too.
Yeah.
Most likely end up having it, I think.
I'm still sore from back day or dumbbell energy back day. And you
And
go
then
both
both
arms and you can sit down.
We said it together.
Jinx, you jinx.
Jinx.
Oh, this is nice. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, now last one Cammy's going to show you. It's a cool stretch called the tabletop hold. And it's a great stretch for the bicep and the shoulder. It's also going to be really important if we start doing bench dips today, which will be an option for some of you guys. So let's see what we got.
I'm going to sit down on your tushy.
Sit on
You're
the
going to
tushy.
put your hands forward.
Okay.
And you're just going to lift your hips up. And then if you don't feel anything in your shoulder, you're just rocking your hips forward here.
Okay.
And just, that's it.
And should your hips be lying? No, your hips don't lie. Your hips
My
shouldn't
hips
lie.
don't lie.
Your hips won't lie.
You won't lie. And you can play with your hand position to go find different places in your bicep and your shoulder. Can you feel that?
I feel it in every part of my body. I feel it in my feet.
What are you talking about?
This is one of those stretches where, you see how my hips are much lower than Camille's because she's got better flexibility, not just through like her hips, but also through her shoulders. So this is a good one on bench press day, overhead day,
Yeah.
arm day, and really any upper body day where the shoulders involved.
It really, if you bring your hips up, you're going to feel higher in your shoulder. So my hips up here, I can feel more in my shoulder. If I bring it down, I'll feel more in my bicep. So, when you stretch, make sure you're always playing with your position a little bit because then you can get new muscle or different place in the muscle. I got dizzy there.
All right, so our first superset is going to be a bicep tricep superset. We're going to start with the tricep exercise, and then we'll go to the bicep exercise. What Camille and I are going to do is we're just going to flip-flop through it through 4 rounds. But the first thing that Cam's going to do is a bench dip. So this is an exercise for the outer head of your tricep. She can show you how to set it up right here. So you're going to sit down on the bench and just put your arms at your sides. And you'll bring your hips off. And the easiest version is with your feet flat on the ground like there. And she can just come down, all the way down nice and deep into a dip and all the way back up. If she wants to make it harder, she can bring her feet out. And then the hardest version is actually her just on her heels Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to elevate my feet when I do this. So I'm going to find a bench and elevate my feet and go through it, and then I'll have Camille actually put some weight on my lap. So, so
are you going to do that, David?
So we're going to work through this. It's going to be some higher volume stuff. So first set is going to be 30 reps of that bench dip. And then you're going to grab some dumbbells, and we're going to do curls in 3 different positions for one large giant set. So the curls are going to work first. It's going to be a double arm curl where you're going to get 10 with your palms up. Then you're going to go to a hammer curl where you're getting 10 with your thumbs up. And then you're going to go to a reverse curl where you're getting 10 with your palms facing down. Okay? So let's set up our bench dip.
If you only have like one weight of dumbbell for the curl and it gets really heavy, like feel free to add some momentum to the dumbbells. You can like keep moving. If that's the goal is to get all the reps in.
Yeah, and if for some reason like the weights are just not manageable at all, it's like too heavy, you could also just grab one dumbbell on both ends and just do 30 reps of a curl. You wouldn't be changing your hand position, but it's still a very good option.
Yeah.
The idea with this is just pumping some blood into your arms. So let's get started. I'll grab my dumbbells. You grab your stuff. Let me take my pre-workout because that's the most important thing.
I'm not allowed to take pre-workout.
So I got to take it for you. I need to double up on
I
pre-workout.
miss my Red Bull.
Yep.
I cry every day about it.
And, you know, I'm going to actually start for this first set. I'm going to start super duper light. Just to kind of get loose, get the biceps loose.
All right, can you repeat the 3 positions for everyone?
Yeah, so I'll do this first set with you. So first one is going to be just palms up. Very simple.
So first set, palms up. But no, because I have to do mine. Just tell them what they're doing.
Second set, or not second set. Right, as soon as you're done with 10 palms up, you're going to go to 10 hammer curl.
So 10 would just like fist forward.
Yep.
And then 10.
And then finally reverse curl with your palm facing down.
Okay. So palm up, forward, and down.
You got it. Okay?
You got
All right,
it.
those reps counted towards my set. 1, 2,
Those they do count, is that what you said?
yeah. 4. As you finish these, you're really trying to squeeze your bicep at the top of each rep. 8, 9, 10. I like to start kind of light just for the first set, just to get warm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to get pumpy. 10. And then palms down. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. So Cam's going to do this. She'll just grab like some 10-pound chip plates for those.
It's
Yeah.
30. Yeah.
That was 30. Good 30?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to go from one to the other, and then you're going to rest. So go right to the next movement. And get our 30 here.
30 tip for Dave. 30 bicep curl for me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh gosh. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Okay.
10,
Holy. Pumpy.
2.
That was the hardest variation, I think.
Yeah.
Reverse curl.
6. It's weird.
Yep.
7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's rare to go that much in front of your bicep.
Yep. So, you know, with the changing hand positions, with the palms up, you're hitting more of the inner head of your bicep. With the palms down, you're hitting the outer head. With the thumbs up, you're hitting the outer head. And with the palm down, you're actually hitting a lot of the brachioradialis, so this muscle right here at the top of your forearm, which is a cool muscle. So we're going to take about 1 minute to 90 seconds, and then we're going to repeat. Next set's going to be the same, except for the dip. Instead of doing a set of 30, you're going to do a set of 20, and I want you to make it more challenging. So you can make it more challenging by elevating your feet. You can make it more challenging by adding some weight on top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dumbbell and put it on my lap for a little weight resistance. For the curl, the reps are going to stay the same, but if that first set was easy, maybe bump up the weight a little bit. Or if you can't bump up the weight, you can slow it down, or maybe you can put a tempo on it where it's maybe 2 seconds up and 2 seconds down for a nice smooth rep for all those positions. Or you can even increase the reps if you needed to. So those are all options if you can't just put more weight on yourself.
Yeah, we're looking for a burn here, so just make it happen.
Feel the burn.
My arms feel bumpy already.
Yeah, that first set was hard. I'm glad. I hope you take a full
Did you use my water to put your pre-workout in it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god. You're the worst.
That's not true. I am the best.
And the worst.
All right.
All right, that's about a minute. Let's go.
Yep. Well, it's 90 seconds. It's supposed to be 90 seconds. But
But you said a minute.
90 seconds isn't dictated rest period. But hey, you're a rule breaker. And it's okay if you feel like you're ready, just hit it again. The idea here is just creating good stress on the muscle.
I just don't like waiting.
Cam doesn't look, she's very impatient. Okay, so here we go, set
I'm
2.
very patient for
10
some
palms
stuff.
up.
All right, fine.
3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hammers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Palms down. 1,
I thought you were doing 20.
3. It's 20 on the dip. 4,
Oh, gotcha.
5, 6, 7. This hurts. 8, 9, 10. Good.
All right, my turn.
Into it.
Keep the same weight because I thought it was hard.
Yeah, keep the same weight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I'm going to put a little weight on my lap for this next set of 20. And just move this back in here. Get on there. To the side. Get it up. Fall off the bench. Got it.
Closing my eyes. 9, 10, forward. Oh. 8.
Not bad.
Ow.
Yep. 90
Owsies.
seconds.
Owsies.
Good. So hey, halfway there. Do this exercise superset. You're gonna go 2 more. As you guys probably guessed, you're gonna do the same thing on the next one. So the dips now are gonna move up in weight. So you're gonna move from 20 reps on the dip down to 10 reps on the dip. Make it more challenging. So add a little bit of weight to it, or raise your feet. Curls are gonna stay the same. So whatever that challenging weight was for you, for those 3 position curls, stay there. And we'll hit set 3. And then set 4 is going to be super fun because we're going to do a little drop set.
My biceps are so pumped right now.
Yeah, and I think that's your water next to my phone, by the way.
No, because there's pre-workout in it.
No, there isn't.
No, there's not. I found my water. Dave did not steal it.
Oh, so in that scenario, would you say that I was right?
I already said it, so stop. Don't push it.
But I'm not sure if they heard it properly.
I already apologize for my mistake, which is a big.
Oh, Camille, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
At least I take accountability.
I thought it was very brave of me not to take offense to that false statement.
You're so annoying. All right, 10 dips and then the biceps.
So now next one's going to be 10 dips into the same bicep.
Okay.
And then the set after, we'll do a drop set on the dip. But for right now, just give yourself maybe 10, 20 seconds more rest.
Look at we're yawning today.
And then we'll go again. So, third set of arms. Are your arms getting pumpy?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. They are getting pumpy. Okay.
Very sexy, huh?
Very sexy. Pumpy arms. Pump day.
I'm going to put some weight on this one.
Putting the weight on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, good. You did that.
6, 7,
You pulled the bench back.
8, 9, 10. Hammers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Palms down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna grab a little heavier weight for this next set of 10 dips.
No, I placed them so it'd be easy for me to pick them up, and now you bring that.
Exactly. Whew. All right, come on now. 10
All right,
dips.
last set.
This is not the last
Well, pre-last set. Last set like
set. Almost
this.
last set. Last set you wish.
Ugh.
Whew.
7, 8, 10. Yes, my eyes are closed.
Why are you dreaming, Cam?
I'm trying to get away.
Are you dreaming about big arms? There you go. Look at that smiley face. Look, why are you smiling?
I'm not
It
smiling.
must not be hard enough because she's still smiling.
That's my face of pain. It just happened that it's a smile, and I know that it's fucked up.
Okay. So you guys got it. Same deal now. We're gonna hit 10 on the bench dip, but it's gonna be a drop set. So you're gonna hit 10 heavy, then you're gonna drop the weight or go back to the last scaling option, and then you're gonna rep to failure. So it's 10, drop, failure on the dip. Bicep curl is gonna stay the same. 10 up, 10 hammer, 10 down. So pretty simple. The next set we'll get a little bit different movements, different rep schemes. They're getting hard.
Those are hard. The bicep,
30 seconds.
the dip is, I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah, you can add a little weight and you can probably handle that 60.
Well, it's just not a fan of putting
Yeah,
on my
you know that
belly.
that dip is a different shoulder position than like a traditional bar dip. So it's much more isolated on the tricep. You're not getting the same kind of pec activation like you would in a dip.
Well, because your body is in front of your arm. Where normally, if you're going down, your body's really over. So
yeah, so for that
definitely
one,
different.
don't be surprised if you're getting challenged at like a lower number or something like that. And you'll really feel that when you rep to failure here. You're going to feel your triceps a lot. You won't feel it in your chest. You'll feel it right in your triceps. All right, you almost ready to rock?
I'm always ready to rock.
Okay, so here we go.
Even when I'm not ready, I'm ready.
Set 4. 3 position curl. Pump your guns. Woo!
One position dip.
1 position dip. In a single position dip. All right. Fridays are fun because Fridays are just arms, like there's nothing too bad about
They
today.
don't say Friday anymore.
March 9th.
We say March 20 that day.
6,
It's now this day, the other day.
9, 10 hammers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Palms down. 1,
Oh, you're
Two.
doing the 30 and then dropping the
3,
weight?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh gosh, that hurts. Now the drop set is only on the dip. I don't know if you guys got that. I know Camille didn't. That's the drop set. It's all here.
I'm suffering.
Good, keep going. Come on, I can see your tricep working. That's really cool. You can see how much that volume of the arm is. Like 2/3 of your arm is tricep. Or your upper arm at least. stretching out, but you can't.
I got hot there.
It's okay.
Uh,
You're doing good. So
and I think it's like, yeah,
you can't take a second. The rest comes after. Come on, you're the one that's impatient about resting.
Yeah, but I started with the harder part of
I'm
this.
sorry, I can't hear you when you're making excuses.
You know he's playing with fire because we're living together and there's no one else. Yeah, you can make your own spaghetti tonight.
Now, I'm just going to wrap out those triceps.
Ow. 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 10 more. 1. Ugh.
Oh. Oh. Owies.
Owies.
Owies. Yay.
Mama.
Nice. Mamacita.
Sweating, yeah.
Good. Okay, cool. All right, finish up that set, guys. I'm going to walk you through the next superset while you guys are kind of finishing up.
That's it. Let's do that thing.
This will, yeah, we're going to do one more 4-set. This is going to be very hard.
We should do 2 sets.
Well, let's see. We are at we're at 10:23. So 10:35. We'll try to end 10 minutes of the superset. Maybe 3. We'll either go
2 sets.
2 or 3 sets of this to really burn out. So, okay. Next one is going to be a complex of different movements and some isometric holds. So for the tricep exercise, we just work the outer head of the tricep with some pushing, any kind of pushing down is working that outer head, a press down, a dip, a bench press. Once you start bringing the arm above the shoulder, you start to work the inner head of the tricep. So this is where movements like skull crushers are really valuable for hitting that inner head. So the complex we're going to do is called tricep annihilation. Sounds fun, right? And it's going to be a complex of one rolling skull crusher. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your arms and elbows up, and you're going to extend, you're going to pull your elbows down and extend your arms. So this is a rolling tricep extension. Okay, now the difference is a strict skull crusher or a strict tricep extension is only moving from the elbow. Okay, so it's going to be a rolling tricep extension into a strict skull crusher into a narrow grip press. That's 1 rep. So here we go again. 1, 1, 1. That's
So what if they don't have a bench?
1 or 2, 2, 2. That's 2. If you don't have a bench, 2 is on the ground. Okay? 3, 3, 3. You're going to go all the way to 10 each set. So as you can imagine, you know, if we're doing 10 reps, that's really closer to like 30 reps. You don't need incredibly heavy weight. And if you don't have a dumbbell, you can grab both ends of one dumbbell and do the same complex. Just don't drop the weight on your
Yeah, and if
face.
you don't have any dumbbell at all, a backpack is good for this.
Or even soup cans would work really
Or a
well. Like
soup
a
can,
couple
yeah.
pounds. Like Cam's going to probably do this using the 5 or the 10-pound chip plates. Okay, so that's complex number 1. Now, complex number 2, where's that other 20-pound ball? Hand me that one, Cam. The bicep exercise, we're going to start incorporating some isometric holds. So what you're going to do is you're going to curl both weights up, but you're going to hold one in contraction. So you're going to curl the weight up. Let's say I'm going to hold my right one. We're going to do 10 reps on the left. Then we're going to go immediately into, hold on the left, 10 reps on the right. Then we're going to go immediately into 10 double arm reps. That's 1 set. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves set up with your bench and your dumbbells. Cam, do you want to start on the tricep extension and I'll start on the bicep? This is a very challenging one for me with the hold, especially with around anywhere 35 to 50 pounds is going to be really hard. So you don't need to tell me
30 reps total. So think about the 30 rep we just did and the weight you use.
And holding that muscle in contraction is probably the most challenging part of it all. All right, so here we go. Superset number 2, tricep annihilation. with the bicep iso holds. I'll get out of your way so you guys can see Cam. Moving up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, good. What are you doing, Cam? That's not the complex.
What? I did what you said.
So the complex is for the skull. It's 1, 1, 1.
No!
I hope you guys. I'm sure you got that. She doesn't listen. Unbelievable.
I'm pregnant.
I'm sitting there going like, what the hell is she doing? She's just pressing the weight.
That's because that's
Okay,
what,
switch.
because that's what we
Make
did
it-
for
make
the
Make it up to them.
bicep.
Make it up to them later. Okay. Make it up to them
Wait,
later.
now tell me what we're doing.
She doesn't know what we're doing. She literally doesn't know what we're
I
doing.
know, but I want to make sure I'm doing it
Okay,
right now.
So
hold 10,
hold one,
then hold
10,
the other one 10,
10
and
and then
10.
double. And double.
That's because that's what we just did for the bicep. So in my head, I was still there. I'm pregnant.
The only one not paying attention. Okay, here we go.
You shouldn't be too surprised. I think I can go heavier.
Oh yeah.
I'm laughing at myself. But...
Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. I'm not even bad.
Sometimes I
That's
wonder.
hilarious.
Sometimes I wonder how I got so freaking fit.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you how many times Cammy's done the workout, and I'm like, are you sure that that's what the workout is? She's like, oh yeah, it's 10,000 rounds of this. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of rounds, Cam. And she goes, I don't know, I know what I'm doing. And then she looks back and she goes, oops, I accidentally did 5 times what I was supposed to do.
At least I always do more. I never do less.
And she'll be like, I was wondering why it felt so hard. All right.
I remember this one time I had to do 100 straight handstand push-up.
Uh-huh.
But in my head it was 100 straight pull-up. Which, like, 100 straight handstand push-up
It's okay.
would be pretty fast for me. But the pull-up was like
Everyone can benefit from
20
like
minutes. I know. I
a
thought
touch
it was so
of
long.
dyslexia. don't ask Cammy to book a plane flight either.
I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone in my family is, and I think I'm on the lower side.
I'll say, hey Cam, book us a flight from San Diego to New
You
York.
guys can see it in my caption all the time on Instagram. I'm definitely dyslexic.
I'll say, Cam, book us a flight from San Diego to New York. We go to the airport, we show up, and I look at the ticket and it says Heathrow Airport in London to Dubai.
That's not true. That's not true. But the AM and PM time on the plane, that's really hard.
Okay. So about 30 seconds, you hit it again. That was obviously pretty hard, right? So
At least I'm cute and fun.
you're very cute and fun. Oh gosh. Now I'm really starting to sweat. That last one was pretty hard.
I know I brought the towel to wipe your sweat
Oh, yeah,
so I don't
please.
lay down on it. No, it's for the bench.
Wow.
You're...
Yes.
Okay, is that enough for us?
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's fucking go. All right, so here we go. Set 2, same deal. ISO hold, and then 10. So 10, 10, and then 10 double.
And I will do it the right way.
Watch Cammy on this one. You guys police her a little bit, because I don't know if she's going to listen.
I never listen.
So here we go. Ooh, this one. This one always.
Like the more
always
you
gets
want
me.
me to listen, the more.
So I held with the right one first. So on this one, I might hold with the left one first. I'll let you guys see Cam. So here we go. Wait. 1,
I think this way is
2,
too. Dad, you're hitting me.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Struggle.
9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh gosh. Owies. Owies. Are you okay? Why are you laughing? Cammie's goal today was to laugh hysterically at something, so I didn't think she expected you laughing at herself so much. What's the matter with you? Why are you crying? Why are you crying? There's no crying in fitness, Cam.
I have to focus so much.
Yeah.
You're not messing up.
Everyone's watching her. She has arms going in the wrong direction. Just out of control. Thanks for making her cry, guys. This is your fault. This is all your fault. All right, come on.
I'm sorry. I have to focus so much to not
Terrible.
mess it up.
Absolutely terrible. Oh my god.
I'm sweating. Oh gosh.
Right, here we go.
I think I'm tired.
Oh man.
Oh, I can't even make that happen. Oh gosh. I'm like wending through my brain. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm sorry. When I start laughing, I can't stop. Oh. Okay, can do this.
9. Oh gosh. Oh my god. You are unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
crying.
Getting pumped out.
Oh,
You know,
goodness,
that's hard.
goodness.
So
It's not easy.
let's go. We're making really good time. Let's go one more superset, so 3 total here,
Oh,
and then we're going to move on to conditioning. The conditioning is going to be, I'm trying to like shake my arms out. The conditioning is going to be a little bit of a regen from Monday's leg day. So Cammie's going to take you through a really good leg flush with some hip, hamstring, and booty exercises just to get some good regen, a little cardio work. So we'll do that right after the next superset. For that, you're not going to need any additional equipment or setup. So whatever you have, we'll be able to find a way to make it work. Whew.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my, Dave.
Yeah?
Oh,
That was hard.
it's hard to believe that I have a degree in chemical engineering.
Is this your water?
No, that's yours.
That's me. Outlets.
Oh boy.
Um,
Big day.
big day, Friday.
Big
Friday's
day.
a fun day, you know, because like arms are fun. Maybe not as functional as like leg day or back day or even chest
I mean,
day.
functional if you want to get the girl
Very functional in terms of soliciting women for sexual
or a
activity.
partner in general. That's how I got you. I got you with my nice.
I
big
introduced
face.
myself. I said, "Hi, I'm Dave, and these are my biceps." It didn't happen like that. Now, really, Camille was courting me. I was like, "Good enough already." I get it. You like me. I get it.
David was going out with me before I even.
She didn't know we were dating. We were already dating.
David was dating me before I even knew we were dating.
Yeah. I texted her and I
He
said,
met me for the first time and he was like, "We're dating."
I texted her and I said, "Hey, I'm David. It's really fun to be dating you."
Yeah.
All right.
The first time we met, from then on, they thought we were dating. I had no idea.
All right, 30 seconds. Make this last one count. Make it hurt. If you want to, maybe bump up the reps to try to get close to failure. Bump up the weight, but try to really cash out on this one to make sure you get something out of this. You know, this was a good hard 30 minutes of just pumping arms. So, you know, get the benefit of your work by working hard. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. You guys didn't check out last night. We had an awesome live conversation with IFBB Pro Dennis, and he was over all kinds of things in nutrition training, bodybuilding. He's got a lot of cool tips for you guys. So if you're interested in that, I think that one's still up on my story. Let's get a, you know, bathroom listing. All right, here we go. Last set. No one did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yay! Oh, yowzers. Bumpy. Rolling, stretch, narrow grip. There you go. She's got it.
That's better now.
Cammie's got it. Okay. So now we're gonna alternate. Cammie's gonna go to the curl, and I'm gonna go to the overhead tricep complex. Couple breaths. I really sweat a lot now, Cam. I don't know if it's me or if it's Florida. I think it's Florida.
You always sweat.
Yeah, but I'm like really sweating. Don't make fun of me. I hear you. I'm not stupid. God.
I didn't. You said it.
Couple breaths. Here we go. Make it hurt. These ones really got me last time. 1, 2,
8,
1.
10. Oh. Owie. Ow. Ow. And ow. That's a lot of bicep.
9, 10. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Nailed it. All right, what are we doing, Camille? What's the conditioning?
All right.
Okay. Okay, hold on to your hats, people. This is gonna knock your socks off. We're gonna do 10,000 rounds of a spin with one leg up. You're gonna spin around in your chair as fast as you can for 10 minutes.
We're gonna go for only 7 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. And we're gonna do 10 hip bridge.
Okay, so this is gonna be on the bench with a weight across the hip?
Yes, if you have that, it's gonna be on the bench with the weight across your hip.
So here, let me show them that. So for the hip bridge.
So you can put like your backpack on your hips. You can put like whatever you have at home.
Even some of you guys might have the ability to hook a band up across your hips. That's really valuable too. And you can do this on the floor. I'm gonna show you on the bench because you get a little more range of motion. Your upper back goes across the bench just like a T. And you're gonna pipe your hips up, excuse me, and come back down. So the weight will be right here. And this is gonna be the hip bridge, hamstring, glute, a little bit of lower back. Really good booty builder right there.
We're gonna be able to. Well, I think only one of us is gonna have the bench.
We'll alternate. We'll tag team back and forth through the rounds.
Okay. So we're gonna do 10 hip bridge like.
Could you please just be careful that you don't sweat on the bench? Because I don't like it when you have to lie in your sweat.
I hate sweat. So we're gonna do 10 of these on the bench into 5. We're gonna do 5 jumping lunge into a jumping squat. So it's gonna be 5 lunge, lunge,
1,
squat, lunge, lunge,
2.
squat. And we're gonna do 5 of these.
Cool.
So that should be, this should bring your cardio up, and both of those together should kill your tushy.
You know what might even it out? If we went 20 here and that many, it'll be the same amount of time.
But I think 10 and 5.
10, because 5 is actually 15 reps.
Yeah, but I feel like it's faster.
Okay, we'll
Just
try
like
it.
those reps
We'll try
slower.
it. Yeah. Okay. So go a little slower in the glute bridge. And also, you know,
So typical.
you can add weight. Like I'm going to take a dumbbell and place it across my hips when I do these 10.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 10 here, and then 5 of the jumping lunge, jumping squat complex.
Cool.
So 10 rep, and this is gonna be 50 rep total. We're gonna go for 7 minutes. And me and Dave are going to tag team here. So at home, if you have a partner, just tag team with them.
Tag team your partner.
All right. So get ready. Get your setup out, and we're going to start in like 20 seconds.
I don't know, 20 seconds. About give it about a minute. Let these guys.
We'll give you a minute to get your setup, and I'll get our clock out.
Get the clock out. I'll put some of these weights away. You guys will be able to see us kind of alternate.
And I'm not happy that I'm sure a bench with it because he's sweating a lot.
Yeah, I'm so sweaty.
You are.
I'm scared at how much I'm sweating right now.
You are.
I should not be losing this much water.
All right, the timer is ready. Which one? Where do you want to start, love?
So I'll start on the glute bridge. Yeah, I'll start on the glute bridge.
Okay.
And I'm going to grab. I've got a nice heavy dumbbell here, so I'm going to do it across the hips. I'm also going to try to make this a little harder by putting a little pause in at the top of each movement so I can really squeeze my butt and squeeze my hamstring to get deep into there. Cool. All right?
Yeah, I just got tired there.
Camille hit a wall for a second.
Yeah.
And this is great regen. You know, you guys who are in dumbbell anarchy or muscle anarchy, you're doing this. This is great regen for Monday's leg day, just to flush the legs out a little bit. It's not gonna really damage you very much. It's gonna be nice blood flow and stuff.
Good little butt bump.
You want some booty.
All right, we're going for 7 minutes. We're gonna start in 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 for Dave, 5 for me, and we'll flip flop at home. Just keep moving through.
I think the average age on our block in this neighborhood is 85 years old, including us.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Here we go. Who was right with the number?
I think you were right.
Who was right with the number?
Okay.
Mommy.
Same thing here. So jump squat.
Jump. Oh.
That's hard. Yeah. Switching it up.
Ooh, that's gonna get spicy real fast.
That's it, gonna get the spicy meatball. Hit me.
Oh, my legs. Fine. We're about 1:30 in. 1 minute 30 in.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Not easy taking that off the hips.
Good.
Okay, you go rest here. Pump it. Yeah.
Good job.
I did a good job.
All right, 2 minutes. We have 5 more. Just embrace the burn.
Yeah. I'm embracing the burn camp. I'm doing a really good job.
You are. Oh. Thanks, babe. Ooh.
Do you think you can take this off me?
Yeah.
It's a little heavy. I got one more. 10. Good. Don't touch my pee-pee. Don't touch my pee-pee.
Right on your pee-pee. All right, switch. Here we go.
Good.
Yep.
Almost halfway here.
Switch.
This is plenty of work for me.
Yeah, we're about halfway, guys.
Maybe halfway. Whoops, excuse me. 1, 2.
Oh, those are good. Nice work, Dave.
6, 7, 8. I feel the hamstring.
Good.
9, 10.
That's
Do
normal.
it. Take it.
I love how you're making me work more.
Ooh.
All right. Right away. Ooh.
Here we go.
Hey, Dave. 4.5.
Oh boy. That's getting slippery.
We have 2.5 minutes. Here we go.
Definitely getting pumpy in my legs.
Yeah. Whew. That last little jump. This is the last
Oh,
one.
maybe not so much bouncing for you.
Those are fine.
6,
2 more.
7, 8.
Hot.
How's the baby doing?
That baby's good.
Good. The baby wants you to take the weight from me. The baby says, take the weight from daddy.
I thought for a second you were truly worried about me.
Okay.
Nope. It was about you.
It's not about me.
It was about
It's
you.
about me a little. Yeah, it's about me.
All right, 1.5 minutes. Here we go. You have about 1 minute. I'm going to turn you guys since you can't really see us. I just realized.
It's hard.
1 minute.
I'm doing so good, Camille.
Yeah, you are. This is a lot of cardio for you, huh?
Yeah, this is not bicep curls. All right, here we go.
Woo! 40 seconds. Come on, Dave.
6, 7, 8, 9. Thanks, Kim. 10. Thank you.
I want to make sure I get my reps in. 20 seconds. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to finish those anyway.
1, 2,
10 seconds.
3, 4.
And done.
Ow! Ow! Oh crap!
Woohoo!
Nice. Stay there. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Sweaty.
Stay there.
Stay there.
So, while you're finishing up or whatever you're doing right now, hang tight. And Camille and I want to give you opportunity to ask some questions to see how we can help you with your training, with your nutrition, with anything.
With your mindset.
Your mindset.
Because we know that that's a big thing
This
right
was an example of both of our programs. So the arm stuff was an example of our muscle anarchy or dumbbell anarchy program. We alternate legs, chest, back, shoulders, arms, Monday through Friday. And Camille was taking to you an example of a Feroce workout, which is obviously very accessible, user-friendly fitness, minimal equipment, aesthetically based, functionality based.
I mean, we do some bodybuilding too.
I mean, that workout.
It's a nice way to.
That workout was hard, but I wasn't hoping it would be harder or anything like that. You know, if I wanted it to be harder, I could have gone faster. But it was pretty safe, especially for somebody like me who's been through back surgeries and stuff.
Well, the nice thing about those workouts too is on the day that you're not feeling super awesome, just like moving through them is going to make you feel good and not make you feel like you're failing at something. On the day that you feel better, you can really like hammer and go hard.
We have 2 live streams on YouTube, and we also have 2 live streams on Instagram going on. So what I want to do is alternate, where I'll select a question from our kind of Thunderbro audience, and then Cam will select a question from her Feroce audience or whoever's out there following her.
You don't have to be your Thunderbro audience. Just ask us questions.
If you're on Instagram,
everything.
You can ask a question in the little question mark button at the bottom of your screen. If you're on YouTube, you can ask a question on the left-hand side. I see Cammie's got like 10,000 questions already.
Yeah, Bruce Levine, we're doing this 30-day challenge right now that is nutrition, mindset, training, because we wanted to give people some motivation at home, a community to be accountable with. And Bruce here with us just asked me if he should also do our 30-day challenge workout, and the answer is yes.
Okay, cool. So Camille, why don't you pick a question, and then we'll answer it, and then I'll pick a question. You guys on my YouTube, feel free to just type it in. You guys on Instagram, I already see that there are a couple questions below. So I'll
look through if you guys have questions.
I'll see if I can select one right now and just kind of have it on deck.
I'm so sweaty. Ugh.
Okay, I'll alternate approach for 6 minutes.
What kind of bands do you?
This question's about dumbbell anarchy. What we did or muscle anarchy. What we did today. What we did today was kind of a modified version.
Trying to save that question.
Dumbbell anarchy workout. So just because we did something different today, I always so follow the program. We were just trying to fit it in to a short enough time period where we could hit all.
Okay, I have a question.
So that's why we did big giant sets. But alternating hammer curls, if it says 20, that would be 20 each arm. 20 each arm is the answer.
All right, I have a lot of questions. All right, so one of the question is what's your pre-workout? So, I mean, for me right now, because I'm pregnant, I'm not allowed to take really any pre-workout, which is, to be honest, one of the saddest thing in my life. But my normal pre-workout, and I know sometimes I get people go nuts about it, but I take Red Bull, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of the reason why behind, because I think a lot of people give it a bad rap, but when you know what's in it, it just makes sense. So there's obviously so some sugar and caffeine, which makes your brain happy, but also you need that sugar when you do like 2-hour-long session like I do when I train.
How much sugar is in one can? It's about the amount of a glass of apple juice, right?
Yes, it's really not that much.
I think it's like 29 grams of sugar.
Yes, it's something like that. And then there's BCAA, branched chain amino acid, which is super important when you train to keep your muscle mass because it's branched chain amino acid.
Yep.
And then the last thing that's in it is some vitamin B, which like literally all the athletes in general are deficient of. So I'm able to get like those 4 components that are like crucial in keeping like my training into this high performance state, keep the energy, make my brain happy, and then make sure I keep all my muscles. So that's what I like. That's my pre-workout.
Yeah, I mean, I like if it's lifting, if it's a long lifting session, I like something with caffeine. Like I'm sponsored by a company called Nutrix, and I like their Outlift pre-workout. But whatever you respond to best and feel best is probably the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's a question.
But a couple of things don't lie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like caffeine is awesome.
Yeah, especially like
there's
a lot of good studies showing the power output effects on upper body strength, at least, with caffeine intake and how that can enhance your performance. And that's just because of the ability to affect your cognition and how well your brain is functioning. Okay, so here's a good question. Do you normally switch out your muscle training groups based on how you feel, or do you keep each muscle? And I can't see. You know how to see the rest of this question, Cam? Positive, good poor connection. So I can't really see the full thing.
It's not giving it to me.
All right, so the question was too long, but so basically that question was asking, do you normally kind of do a training split where
I think you put the Q in.
you're alternating
I'm
muscle
assuming
groups?
the question is, do you follow a strict plan or you go by how your muscle feels?
Yeah,
I'm assuming
exactly.
that's something like that.
Probably both, right?
Yes.
So like depending on what your goals are, and it really is like what you want and how fast you want to get it, kind of dictates how many times you might train a muscle group. So if you were just kind of like pursuing general fitness, you might train a muscle group multiple times in the week and not really break down the muscle extremely, but it might be stuff like air squats and push-ups and thrusters and pull-ups just kind of repeatedly. If you were going for something like I want a lot of muscle growth fast, I recommend creating a split that allows enough time for that muscle group to recover. So for instance, in Muscle Anarchy, we'll do a rotation of legs, chest, back, shoulders, and arms because it takes almost a full week to recover for the next leg day because we really hammer those muscle groups to create muscle damage. There's no real need to train them more than that because we're really digging into them. But something like Cammy's program, like she'll train legs multiple times a week.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, it goes with the intensity and the goal behind it, right? So Dave's programming is very specific to this brutal breakdown of the muscle, and like when you do his program, you can't walk.
Cammy's still sore from.
You cannot walk. But my program, the way I wanted to create my program was that you should like feel really good, feel like you got a good pump, got a hard workout, but that you can still function after. Because my program is more made for, hey, I'm doing this after work, I'm doing this before work, so we want to make sure that you can function through the rest of your day. So the intensity is really the indicator of like how many times should you do those specific type of muscle group or more movement in a row. So if the intensity can still be really high, but it's the breakdown in the muscle that really matters. So because sometimes you'll do something that Dave is doing and you won't feel like the intensity is high because your heart rate might not be over the roof, but the time under tension is so long and there's so much breakdown in your muscle that's when you need to give your body more time to recover.
Yeah, I mean, Camille was saying this past week, I think it was like on Wednesday, she was like, my triceps are still sore from that arm day we did on Friday. And that's intentional. That's why we only hit these muscles once a week because we're really intentionally breaking them down with decent extremity, and also
he's so sweaty. He keeps moving towards me, and I keep trying to get away from him so he's not sweating.
This is actually a good point because, like, I think a lot of people don't respect recovery time.
Yes.
If you're hitting plateaus and you're not getting any bigger or stronger, oftentimes that's because you're not giving your muscles enough time to heal, remodel, and recover, because then when they remodel thicker and stronger. But if that process is never allowed to happen, you can actually end up even getting weaker because it's constantly stress on top of stress.
Not just recovery, but I think, definitely, I think most people either recover too much or not enough. Like, it's rare that there's a well balance there, but making sure that your program is very varied is so important because that's one way that you can keep training the arm like day to day if you want to, by just really attacking it in much different ways, and it'll make you overall much fitter, much stronger, and really give you like the most bang for your buck. So it depends on, I really think it depends on the intensity, the stimulus, and definitely the volume, and lastly is how does my body feel after?
Yeah, and
which
also,
like it's very personal on that side. For example, I was sick for 12 weeks at the beginning of my pregnancy, and I did something like 3x10 bicep curl with Dave, and I could barely extend my arm after. So it really, it's listening to your body too.
Yeah, and this is obviously contextual to the person, like how well trained you are, but the severity of the program is almost exactly equivalent to the rate of the results. So
and the rate of recovery that needs to go with.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so you take a question now. I know you got some good ones in there. They're typing in on your Instagram too, Cam.
Yeah, I think
some cues there. And we just finished our dumbbell anarchy / gross conditioning workout. We did arms day, so we got pumped out. Some really cool supersets, stuff with like isometric holds, tricep complexes, varying different types of bicep curls, dips, bench dips with drop sets. And all kinds of
That's
cool
good.
things.
That's a good one.
All right, what do you got?
Someone is asking me.
You can select it so it shows up on the screen if you just click on it.
Oh.
So everyone can see what question you're answering.
This one is in French.
Oh, okay. You know that it's the question button where you can actually select the
No,
question.
I have no idea how to do that.
So
It's okay. It's okay. Let's just answer. Okay. All right. So someone is asking me if my study in chemical engineering impact the supplement that I take.
yeah,
And yes, it really do. There's a couple. Gosh, man, years and years ago, I started to get really crazy about like trying to find like a good like whey protein supplement. And one of the things that's really hard is for example, like depending what country you are in, the standard for quality and what you are allowed to say on like the package is different. So as an example, if you call it an isoprotein,
isolate protein?
Yes.
Okay.
So the isolate
Isolate.
the isolate like mechanism is just a separation of a product by water. So you separate a product with the process of adding water.
So when it says something like whey protein isolate, all that means
Is that they use that process
Yes.
to separate the whey.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that the whey is more pure. It's just that is the process that they use. And that if you go to like the super minimum knowledge of it could be just dunking water and then grabbing the product that is formed at the top. So depending what country you're in, I know in Canada they're super strict about this, but in Canada that does go with the purity. So different countries have different quality, and also it's different. The different process mean different things. So when you see isolate, it doesn't necessarily mean that the quality is there. You have to like push a lot further than that to know like what the quality of it is. And so what I started to do, because I would drink like a lot of protein, and I would be just wondering why the texture from one differ from the other one. And that just goes in the molecule of the protein. And then you realize that if there's some molecule that might be missing, maybe that's why the protein feels like very watery instead of like milky-ish. Because remember, whey comes from milk, so there should be, I think, a little milky-ish component.
And typically, depending on what the additives are in protein too, because if it was just protein isolate that was hydrolyzed, it's actually very sandy, very grainy, and it mixes really easy.
Oh yeah, that's the hydrolyzed. That's the water.
But if it has
isolation with hydro water.
If it has casein protein in it, it tends to be a little chalkier.
Yes.
And I think in the end, one, if you're shopping for supplements, there's some really good governing bodies out there that companies will elect to have their product tested. Like there's one called Informed Choice that basically says everything that's in the product is actually in the product. And that's like very basic. There's also ones like Safe Sport to make sure that there's no banned substances or things like that in there, impurities. But you're always taking a crapshoot. I recommend finding the supplement that one, like you respond well to, that doesn't make you feel sick or weird, and go based on your results too.
But the answer is yes. I got super geeky about it.
Cool.
Because I like to, especially being drug tested and everything, you want to make sure that what you're putting in your body is spot on, right?
Okay.
So here we go. Moral of the story, look for the certification that means something.
It's on YouTube. I was just asking about it. They wanted to know where they could find our workout, and it's on our YouTube channel. I mean, obviously, you guys who are on YouTube know that it's on our channel, but for you guys out there on Instagram, if you missed this whole workout, or if you want to archive it and take a look at it later,
this is a good question. We'll take one more question and then we'll go. This person says that. Is asking about how to train their leg when they only have a 20 kilo weight.
Okay, so 20 kilos, that's like a 45-pounder almost, right? Well, there's lots of ways to do it. It probably, There are lots of different ways to preserve your strength and get your muscles to grow or hypertrophy. One is with like heavy mechanical loading, which like heavy mechanical loading.
You're so sweaty. You keep wanting to hug me.
Heavy mechanical loading is like when you have a lot of weight on you. It can typically be in that 8 to 12 rep range. And it's where it's like if the bar ain't bending, you're just pretending, so to speak, right? So that's one way. Another way you can do it is with micro tearing. So that can happen through volume and repetitions and specifically negatives. So adding tempos to say something like a squat, that can create a lot of good micro tearing. And then the last one is metabolic stress, which is just high rep work that's going to push blood into muscle. So for instance, that last workout Camille and I did, that was actually a good amount of metabolic stress. But in say something like our dumbbell anarchy program, like we use a lot of volume and tempos to preserve size and strength, and we'll create different mechanisms of the movement to challenge it differently. So for instance, we'll do variations of say something called the sissy squat, which is a terrible version of a squat. It's really fucking hard. It's just like a hack squat with our feet together, even just holding a 40-pound weight. That's incredibly challenging. So there are ways to do it. You just need to be creative and you need to know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah, so for example, some of the more exact way you can do this, it could be like reps into holds. It could be like 3-4 second down. It could be a negative with the hold. It could be like, ab, quarter, full range of motion. So just attacking different part of the body in the movement, and definitely like hold, have full range of motion, and negative are a great way to build that volume and that tension.
So let's give some specific examples in like a squat. Okay, so here's how we might do this in a squat. If you have your 40-pound weight, hold it in the goblet squat in the front of your body. And you might do a set where maybe it's a rep where you're going to go 3 seconds down, 1, 2, 3 down, and 3 seconds up, 1, 2, 3. And you do that for 3 reps. And then you might go from those 3 reps into 5 fast reps. And then you go back into the slow reps. This is all the same set. 3 reps slow, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for 3, into 5 fast reps, and then maybe one more time through. So that's actually was 8 times 3, so that's 24 total reps. But it's also a lot of time under tension. So you're getting the negatives and you're getting the metabolic stress. That's really hard. So that's an example of like mixing a tempo.
And by adding the fast rep, you're still like focusing on that power output, which translates to strength. So sometimes I think when people only do slow rep, you're like really missing out one of the components, which is keeping that high power output by keeping elements that are a little bit more explosive.
Yeah, and if we were talking about things like Camille was mentioning partial reps, that might look like in a squat, maybe 10 partial half reps from the top where you go halfway down and back up, into 10 partial half reps from the bottom where you go from the bottom halfway up into 10 full reps. So it's 30 reps total, but you're working different ranges of motion and keeping the muscle under tension. So there are lots of creative ways to do it. And I know Camille likes to throw a lot of that stuff into her program. That's basically all we do with Muscle Anarchy is that stuff. And it comes from advanced bodybuilding concepts, like learning how to get intensity out of lighter weights, because that's how that's bodybuilding. Also
being tired of always getting hurt with all the complex heavy lifting, which are fun.
I think
but I don't think her body likes it at a certain point. So you gotta mix it good to make sure you stay healthy.
The biggest analogs to injury are speed and load.
Yes.
Right? So, it doesn't have to be fast or heavy for it to be effective, especially in terms of like muscle growth.
Sure.
All
right. This is it.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Peace.
We're gonna go back to work, check out Feroz Fitness and Muscle Anarchy.
That's hard.